And we are live, so we can start this call. As usual, we'll just go over our team. I think it's just 2 or 3 of us here. And then from my end, I've been working on the cascaded bridges support. And there's a couple of open PRs, one in GCOF and one in the bridge, that are under review right now. So it adds basic support, but right now it's not fully functional. It's almost there. And after they are merged, hopefully this week, there'll be a period of time when we're going to be testing, but it's still an experimental feature, so not ready for production. Apart from that, someone on GitHub helped us to debug and trace an issue with Jibri and recordings. One single instance of GCOFO could effectively only support one live streaming session at a time, and starting a second one would break things. So this is now fixed in master. It should make its way to me with the next update. And I don't really know. I think that's all that I have. Hey, Emil.
Hey, folks. Are we doing a round of the table, or are you just saying
Yes,
everything that comes to? Okay, well, who else wants to go next?
So I can go next. I spent these 2 weeks mostly on adding mobile tests, and I have currently 1 PR to torture, and then I will be pushing the remaining parts after this one is merged. And other than that, I only refactored the sounds on mobile PR, which should be merged soon. And I think that's all from me.
Zotli?
Yeah, I can go next. One feature, well, one welcome screen facelift is already in beta from the last 2 weeks. That will go live soon. And 2 additional features are being tested right now. One is the calendar sync feature, which means that the app will scan your meetings and it will give you a nicer way to join your meetings. And the other is the pinch and zoom, to be able to pinch and zoom for desktop streams on mobile. That's it.
And both of those are near. Sorry, you wanted to clarify there, or?
Go.
I was just asking. Both of those are near completion, right?
Yeah, the calendar sync went through 2 PR review rounds, and the pinch and zoom is just about to be committed to PR.
So we released version 1.14 of the mobile app during the weekend. That went out with the redesigned welcome page and the settings, so that now people can specify the display name and also choose an avatar and email address. So who I personally like it is the ability to go into a conference without a camera, for example. We can switch that off before we join on the welcome page as well. And the second big thing that went out was picture-in-picture on Android Oreo. Just an update from those 2 days. A very nice one is that our crash rate has improved. So we're now super stable on Android at least. iOS has always been more stable than Android. And yeah, That's all from Lupa.
Thank you, guys. And we should be pushing out a news entry on these things today because they are rather significant changes. And I'm most personally looking forward to the calendar integration because, yeah. Good. Is Lenny here? I guess if he's not, then a quick update for him. He's currently working on a redesign of the web page. We're merging the menus. So now you're no longer going to have 2 control menus or even kind of 3. There's going to be one big bar with all the things. Hopefully that's going to make the user interface look less intimidating, especially to first-time users. So there's that. And is Brian here?
Yeah.
Brian, do you want to talk about your Jibri work?
Yeah, so the
maybe with a
stream.
quick reminder about what it's all about.
Yeah, so we've been doing a Jibri rewrite to try and address some stability things, and also to try and, while we're at it, leverage some of the existing code we've had, so we didn't have to redo everything in Python. So the streaming and file recording aspects of that are, I think, feeling good and pretty solid. And I'm going to start looking at the SIP gateway kind of feature of Jibri and the new stuff next.
Which basically means that the new Jibri, we're also going to try and make it support talking to legacy telepresence endpoints like the current one did. Also, we're probably going to work with, I don't know if Yasin is on the call. He's been on and off in the community for a while. We're going to try and work with him for a couple of tutorials about setting up Jibri and setting up Jitsi in general. Right. I think those are the major updates. Am I missing something? Anyone I forgot? We've had a ton of maintenance stuff, but those are the main highlights.
Dr. Alex.
Okay. What's that?
Hey, Emil, that's Alex on the call.
Yeah, I was just going to say open mic. So Alex, please go ahead.
Right, that's my first time. I didn't know the process. Thank you for opening the mic. For those that don't know me, I'm with Cosmo. We've been working with Jitsi on a couple of projects now. Last year, Symfony, not anymore, but 2 more clients the same size as Symfony this year. We have finished the implementation of gRecon with different aspects touching recording, especially in the context of double encrypted recording, Percolite. So we're thinking about contributing that back. It's not going to come back, within the next couple of weeks, but I will speak with you, Emil, whether you're interested or not to get that back, maybe this quarter, right? So
sure, let's chat about it.
Right. Then I wanted to mention that we just had a resource starting Monday, yesterday, today here, that is going to work on your Electron client. Since we're adding Electron support in Kite, we wanted to add Electron application for all the major SFU. So we have an Electron client for Genesis. We have an Electron client for...
Have you guys checked the Jitsi one?
Yeah, so there is one guy that is dedicated to the Jitsi one. That's what I'm telling you. Just
no, I mean the Jitsi Electron client.
We haven't started, but that's his job, full time.
Okay, well, just making sure that there is a Jitsi Electron client, and if it serves you in any way, then maybe. Right.
So, yeah, we were aware of that, and we're going for it. And so you should expect some from us. And even more so when we finish the integration of Electron support in Kite, because then we're going to add it in the daily run we do for Google and the other browser vendors, right? So
excellent.
That should be nice. The second
we use that a
information.
lot. Actually, it's what we use with Stride in Atlassian, so it's a major use case for us as well.
Yeah, great. So the interests are aligned. The other info that might be of interest to you is that we have almost finished a load testing version of Kite. But by load testing, I mean 100K to 1 to 2 million clients at a time. So we used a lot your benchmark, the benchmark post you did to do the original validation, but now we're pushing it a little bit forward. And as I said to you in an email, we're going to see if I can replace both the Jitsi Hammer for you and other tools for other people, since we basically platform and WebRTC SFU agnostic, right? That's going to come after London, after the IETF. And the last reason I'm here today is to speak about Jitsi support on Safari iOS. So correct me if I'm wrong. I contacted Emil, I contacted Sao. They told me right now you do audio only, and that's mainly because you could do video, but since there is no simulcast support in H.264 in WebRTC, the quality will not be in par with what you want to have. Is that a correct assessment of the situation?
Yeah, partially. We also don't want to pay H.264 licenses.
Right. So
because we distribute Electron, so.
Yeah, I understand. So if you compile and distribute it, the royalty is on you. So I took over one of the patch that Brian sent a long time ago about making a simulcast working with H.264 in WebRTC.org. And I pushed it in the face of Google a little bit. It looks like I might be able to get them to actually integrate it during the London IETF meeting. So thanks, Brian, for submitting the patch in the first place. I think that was almost 2 years ago.
Yeah, there was there's another one that was more recent. Have you seen from Hemant at High Five? He generalized the simulcast implementation, so VP8 and 264 used the same one, and he had it close, but it needed rebasing, and I think he didn't get around to it. I don't know if you've seen that, and if that might be more helpful.
I'm not sure if that's the one I saw or not. Would you mind to push the link to me? You know, I'm under contact with Google, so I have a daily with them, and I can push a few things through that channel, you know, on the fast. So Harold is interested in having that. So Harold is going to be at London, and I hope he's going to have enough weight to actually push someone in Stockholm to just take it and push it in, because it looks like most of the work has been done.
Yeah. Cool.
Right. So that could would that be enough for you to add Jitsi, or the H.264 royalty will still be?
Well, wait. So I guess those are independent issues. Whether or not we enable it in Atlassian does not change anything as to what it supports. There is, I believe, a little bit of work that needs to be done in terms of negotiating stuff. So is George on the call? George, you on the call? No?
He's on vacation this week, I think.
Oh, right. Okay. So I believe everything in the bridge should be fine for H.264. So I think there might be just a few tweaks left where... No, actually, no. It should all work, I'm thinking right now.
Well, Saul told me there might be a few things to do on the adapter.js equivalent, because right now you're bypassing when you see it's Apple, you know, in GT Meet. But apparently, as far as you understand, that would be on, you know, just a few changes.
So right, that and in terms of properly negotiating stuff, preferring VP8 to H.264 or anything like that, there might be a few tweaks there. I suspect it won't be satisfactory out of the box for you, but that would probably be like a week-long thing, not a big deal.
I mean, I have enough resource to do it. If you point me in the right direction, I have no problem. I'm okay to do that on a collaborative way, where you tell me, okay, that's the right thing to do, and we just do it, right? I think
Yeah,
better
cool.
if we push that all together and put a little bit of pressure on Google. It looks like Apple will be okay to put that in as soon as it's getting available.
To put what in?
The simulcast support for H.264.
Okay, got it.
Because eventually we want it in Safari iOS, right? That's the goal.
Right. So there's another thing there too, that Jitsi Meet by default is turning off any mobile browsers and presenting a different experience. So that would be a piece of extra work there to have that part disableable with configuration.
Okay, but that's in a React Native client, right?
Yeah, it's even in the web piece of it, I believe.
So is it in the libjitsi Meet then, or is it above? Is it at
No,
the
I
app?
think it's in Jitsi Meet.
Oh, it's in the app.
No, it's not in the app. It's in the web app. I think it's in Jitsi Meet, not in libjitsi Meet, and it basically just shows you a different page where you can join over the phone or download the app and these things. So you would need to disable that. Could you please speak a little bit as to why? Sorry, Lugo.
Yeah, that's correct. And there's also the thing that the UI is totally web-based. Like even if you go with the mobile browser on it, you still need a big screen on which you can touch all the elements of the web. So the mobile user experience is not even implemented for the browser. That's all I have to say.
Right. So that might be your biggest chunk of work if you go down that path.
Understood. But I have a client that is very adamant that they want support in browser, in mobile browser.
Is that work that you want on mobile or on iPad, or what's the goal there?
If I remember correctly, it's iPhone and iPad, yes. And we already provide them with a modified React Native version of Jitsi Meet, but they also want Safari browser. Don't ask me why.
So, Lugo, I'm wondering, by the way, Alex, I just want you to know that these calls are recorded and on YouTube.
It's good I didn't mention any client name then.
Just so you know. So, Lugo, I wonder if there might be a conversation there about reusing the React Native user interface and having that same interface implemented as a web thing for browser experiences on mobile.
Why wouldn't this fall back to the web experience, the desktop web experience, and adapted for mobile?
It would, but it sucks.
You're saying because of the small screen size.
Guys,
because of the whole reactive thing, because of like there's a plenty of things where we expect hovers and shit, and it's not like it's meant to work with a fucking mouse, and and it's just not optimal. Of course it would, but it's just I wouldn't launch an application in production with that. So I was thinking that if we could just reuse,
The idea is just to provide an SDK, actually, right? So we don't do the app. So we're just reusing mainly libjitsi Meet and adding their own signaling and login and auth and things like that. So they just want to make sure that in terms of quality of the video, they would achieve the same quality they have with the desktop. And the answer is no, because there's no VP8, there's only 264, and 264.
In fact, well, then in that case, if you're only interested in libjitsi Meet, then the entire previous conversation about the default phone page, that doesn't really matter.
Correct. That doesn't apply in my case.
Okay. So, are there any other topics?
I can speak a little bit about H.264 and Jitsi Video Bridge, because i5 we've been using H.264 with Jitsi Video Bridge for the last year and a half, but we were heavily modifying Jitsi Video Bridge we are right now in the middle of doing a rebase to the latest Jitsi video bridge, as of end of February, like 1027 version. There are still some problems with the simulcast and bitrate prober being very VP8 specific, and so we're working through those issues right now.
Right, but Ed, that doesn't change the problem. If one of your clients is on iOS Safari, there is no simulcast possible on the client side of it.
Oh, but yeah, I'm aware.
Yes, those are independent problems, but you need both. So I'm sorry, what's your name again?
Ed.
Ed, hi Ed. Thanks for the update. Have you guys? I'm sorry if I've missed it, but have you sent your work to us before?
We have in some limited capacity, but we were so far behind the mainline that it just didn't make sense to submit what like almost over a year ago, based on a year ago patches, and things have significantly changed since. So I'm expecting that when we complete this new rebase, we will send many patches over.
That is really good to know. In fact, last summer, I believe there were changes on our side that should have made the experience with H64 better in the bridge.
Yeah,
now, we don't use it day to day, so I assume, especially with simulcast, you might have had additional fixes on top of that. But
I guess you don't have a way to test the simulcast because it's on us. Hemant hasn't pushed the simulcast for Chrome, so you don't have a good way of testing that. But we've been running with simulcast in our version of Chrome in Electron, and so we've had a little bit over a year and a half experience with simulcast in Chrome.
Okay, that's good to know. And in general, the new patches that you're expecting, is that a big change, or how would you describe it?
At the moment, they seem like small changes, but we are running into some issues that maybe it might involve some more extensive changes, but at the moment they seem small.
That's optimistic. Thank you.
If you guys have any queries, feel free to, write on the mailing list or reach out. Happy to help with it.
Thanks, Ed. This is really great news. And thanks, Alex. That's great news too.
Right. I'm going to try to have the guy, John, the guy working on Jitsi full time, to join the meetings, but they are at 11:30 p.m. local time, so it's a little bit challenging.
Well, that's the thing with a global project. It's always challenging for someone, I guess. But thanks. All right. Someone wanted to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, if I may jump in, this is Vila from High Five. Today we just pushed one fix for PLI spamming when using simulcast in Chrome. I mean, the same simulcast Hemant had submitted to the Chrome. So the basic thing is that it doesn't just recognize keyframes coming from other two layers of simulcast. There is a issue reported and pull request.
That's awesome. I'll take a look.
All right, awesome. Thank you very much. Oh, actually, Boris, you're leading the call. I'm sorry. Thank you. Go ahead.
Just a note on GSOC. Today, student applications open. I believe they're open for 2 or 3 weeks. So we expect, we saw a lot of emails from interested students this year. We expect to have quite a lot of applications. Just an FYI. That's all that I have.
That's awesome. Hey, Hey, Boris, let's talk about the end-to-end encryption stuff in that context. I was thinking. I think that might be worth considering at least.
Okay, yeah.
Sounds like I interrupted someone.
Oh, I didn't know if it's still open floor.
It totally.
All right. Had another question. So I was wondering if either in Stride or HipChat there is the use case of like multiple. We call it end up, like multiple videos up on the screen at once. It seems like with Jitsi Meet, it's just one video at this on the screen, like full screen. Do you have the use case of like multiple large videos up on the screen at once?
So I'm sorry if I'm not recognizing the voice. Is this Ed again? No.
Yes, this is Ed again.
Oh, Ed. Okay. Not currently, Ed, but the question keeps being brought up, so that might change. And if you're asking with regard to would we be interested in PRs that add support for that stuff? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. Well, partially I was asking because if you have already experience with this, then maybe you run into some of the same issues that we do. We're trying to work through them right now.
Well, no, we don't.
Okay.
But I'm not at all surprised that there are issues because there are a lot of places where we assume a single stream.
I see. Okay. All right. Well, then maybe we can provide more value on that front when we're done.
Yeah, that'd be great because it is something that keeps being brought up over and over again. It's a fascinating experience debate as well.
We also had this working completely with our previous version, but since the rebase, we have to kind of redo it on the new rebase. So.
And please remind me, you guys are not using libjitsi meet at all, right? It's just the bridge.
We're using the bridge. We're using parts of libjitsi meet where they were appropriate. So we've heavily forked and changed that piece. So mostly just the bridge.
Okay, well that would help contain the work to at least the bridge, because I'm actually more scared of all the changes that would be required in libjitsi meet if that were to be done.
Yeah.
So on the bridge, this is just using last end, which is pretty a basic thing on the bridge. Is even that having problems?
Yeah. But once we get beyond a certain number of colors on the stage, all the videos freeze.
Oh.
Yeah. So we're trying to work through the issues right now. But if there's somebody on Jitsi side that we can talk with and collaborate, that would be excellent.
I mean, that's interesting because, I mean, although Jitsi Meet only does one large video, obviously we have all the thumbnails. So it can forward quite a few videos, even though it doesn't use quite the same scheme on the bridge, but forwarding lots of videos.
Aren't we talking about the issues being on the other side, or did I miss something?
What's the other side?
The upload side, client to bridge.
Oh, I didn't hear any mention of that.
Oh, I don't know if it's on. I don't think it's on the upload side. I think it's on the downlink side. And so yeah, that is right. You do have multiple thumbnail videos going. So I'm not exactly sure where the issue is. We're still looking. It might be something again that's H264 specific, but don't know.
Are you able to divulge when you said a certain number of streams on stage, what that number is, or would you rather not? I'm just trying to get a ballpark idea.
As soon as we get to 4 callers, then all videos stop.
Oh, okay, yeah. That seems odd.
It does, because we pretty much every day we get infos bigger than that, and we don't see that issue.
I
Yeah.
think
I
the
wonder
new
if that could be related to H.264.
I think the new bitrate controller, there's a lot of complex code there, and there might be some assumptions about one selected endpoint, or at least implicit assumption. So that's
Yeah,
what we're
maybe.
looking.
Yeah, I think we see that the bitrate estimates go to 0 for all the videos. So maybe that's a clue.
Yeah, that sounds suspicious.
Yeah. Also, target index for simulcast is going to -1.
Yeah, that's like turn it off, basically.
And understood.
Well, anyways, we'll be working through the issues, and when we get something useful, we will certainly be submitting upstream. If there's any contact that we can have with Jitsi and that we can collaborate with, that would be great.
Yeah, that would absolutely be possible. You can reach out to the mailing list, or to me, Brian, or Boris directly, and yeah,
All right, thank you.
figure something out.
Do we have any more topics for open mic or any questions? Looks like we can close it. So I'm stopping the live stream.